Okay, on my previous video I show you how to make a full system backup and then restore using a recovery TWRP, the TWRP. Let's say you have two cell phones identically same hardware and for the same carrier, Verizon or T-Mobile, and you want to back up for one, let's say for this one, and you want to move the backup to another one. Sound easy, but once you make the backup for this phone and you try to move the data or do the restore on this one, it would not work because the recovery backup you make, it would not recognize this phone. So for that we have to do some trick and we will get this working. And so we have to have a laptop, SD card reader and laptop. So I make a backup on my white phone using the SD card. So I put that SD card on my laptop SD card reader, and what I'm gonna do now, I go to my computer and I see the SD card, and under my SD card I should have a folder named TWRP, and under TWRP I should have a backup. So this is the backup I made on my white cell phone, and that's all the data I have. So I want to move the data to my different phone, which is same, identical, everything. So what I have to do now is, when I put this SD card on my black phone, it not work because it would not recognize the backup. So for me to recognize this backup on my another phone, what I have to do, I have to take this SD card from here and then I put it on my black cell phone. That's what I want to do, the restore from my white phone to my black phone. So let's do this. Okay, so before we start backing up the data to the another phone, what we're gonna do is we go to TWRP using my laptop and SD card and backup. So this is the data backed up using TWRP on my white cell phone. So I'm just gonna write it down. The number, folder name is 14B1C4E8 for my reference, and this is very important to do. So I'm just gonna write down this number somewhere so I know. I'm gonna write down this white, or whatever you want to call it. So I know I have one backup which I did on my white phone, and the folder name for that is 14BCC4E8. It could be any random number for you, it doesn't have to be the same, but just for your record you have that number. So once I do that, I'm just gonna take this SD card and put it on my black cell phone, which I'm gonna be copying over. So let me take the SD card and put it in. Okay, so I took the SD card from my laptop and I put it in this black cell phone. So as I was saying, that since we already made the backup on white phone and we were trying to do this on this phone, and what happens once you go to the restore, you would not see the backup because whatever the backup we did, it was under the white phone, not on this phone. So you cannot restore white phone data on this phone because, try to zoom. Okay, as you see, there is nothing is listed. So what we have to do, we go under the backup and we just want to make a backup for anything small, so which is this EFC, and we select the SD card. We can select the SD card and we just basically making a backup, and this is the smallest, only 12, and under the SD card we said okay and swipe to backup. So now it's gonna make a backup. So if I go back to restore, I will see one restore credit only for EFS, because that's what I did. So I get that part done. We have a backup under the SD card. So I'm just gonna take this SD card out and put it in on my laptop SD card reader. Okay, so I have my SD card, put it in on my laptop, and I'm go back to SD card under TWRP and under backup. So now you see I have two folders. One is for my white phone, and I already know because I already write it down the numbers. So 14BC is for my white phone, and then 4FBD is for my black phone. So if I go under here, these are the backup files for my black phone because it has a different numbers, and these are black file for my white phone. So what we were trying to do, copy these files over to black phone. So I'm gonna do Control A to select all, and then Control C to copy, or you could right click, or you just Control A to copy and right click and then say copy, Control A to select all, and then Control A to select all, and then Control C, Control and C to copy. And so we copied the white phone, which is 14, to the black. So we go here, and whatever we had here we delete, and make sure you are deleting into the right folder. You're deleting from the right folder. So this is the black phone backup we did, and we're just gonna delete it and say yes. Let's see what happened. Okay, hold on. It was just a read error, memory error for the SD card, so I took the SD card out and replugged it, and now once I did, it says scan and fix. So I'm just gonna do that. It's old laptop, so it's probably he's doing this. So I said okay. So I go back again under my laptop, under my SD card, under my TWRP, under the backup, and so this is 14B1 is for my white cell phone data. I'm just gonna go Control A, select all, then I right click and then say copy, and then I go back to my black phone data folder, the backup data folder. I do Control A, select all, then I do delete, and I said yes. So it's just gonna delete everything, and then I already have copied, right click and then paste. So it's just gonna copy the files from my white cell phone backup data folder to my black cell phone backup data folder. So it'll take like 5-10 minutes depending on your computer speed. So it's saying 6 minutes, so I'm just gonna pause. So I'm done copying everything over to my black backup data folder. So I'm just gonna take the SD card out and I'm gonna put it in on my black phone. Since I took the SD card 2-3 times from my black phone, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say reboot, and then I'm gonna click recovery. So you just refresh, reboot, so you could see the SD card with the new backup. Then I go restore, and then I go here. So you see, okay, so after restart I go to back to restore, and now you see the system read all the data which we copied over from the white phone. So now I can make a now I can restore my white phone data to my black phone. As long they are same identically software wise, I shouldn't have any problem to just copying the data over. And what that gives you advantage, so let's say you already have your white phone, your another phone set up, everything up and running, and you want to do the same thing on your another phone, but you don't want to go through all that customization and setup. You just copy and do the backup and then restore. And for that, which is easy, so I'm just gonna swipe to restore, and it will restore whole thing, and it should be good to go. So the quick follow-up, what we did, we have a backup created under the white phone, and we were using it, restoring, everything is fine, but we want to see if we can move the data from white phone, the whole system backup, to the black phone. But once we put the SD card in, it would not recognize the white phone data because it never had any backup created. So what we did, we created just the dummy backup on black phone, and then we took it to the laptop, and then we copy the data from black, from the white phone to the black phone. And for that we have to remember the white phone backup data folder name, and then we copy it from there to the black one. And once we did that copy, the whole thing copied over without any errors and stuff like that, we just put that SD card back into the black phone, and then we did restore, and everything is fine. So that's the way you could move the data between cell phones if they are identically the same. But if you just want to have the one phone and you want to create the backup, and then you don't have to go. This is more advanced. So I hope now you have some understanding how to create a backup on one phone and then move the same backup to the another phone. And when you're doing the restore from one phone to another phone, make sure do not restore this EFS because you're gonna copy the IMI from one phone to another phone, and which is not good because each phone has their own different IMI numbers. So the rest of that you can copy over, but make sure when you're copying over from one phone to another phone, don't restore EFS because you're gonna copying the EMI number from one phone and then you're gonna rewriting to another phone, and sometimes that causes problems, and then you have to recreate the EFS, which is another video I'm gonna make. But to ignore all that trouble, just when you're restoring data from another phone to a different phone, do not restore that EFS. Just leave it blank and then restore these others. But if you are restoring the data on the same phone without copying over to another phone, then you can copy EFS without any issues. But when you are not and you're moving to another phone, make sure you don't copy that, to be on the safe side.